The guy the other
Ron has. Well, he said.
My son. You're working in debt. Clayton works 80 hours a week sometimes.
I thought he was in coaching center.
He works part-time here, he works full-time. Clayton. Well, this is a big seat. Yeah, I'm ready to start. What do you do?
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order of Dunbar Finance Committee, November 18, 2019 at 6 o'clock. Call to order. Our first item is minutes for November 4, 2019. So you've had your minutes for November 4 finance meeting. Had time to review those. Any questions, comments, or corrections on the minutes from November 4, 2019 Finance Committee? Hearing none on the minutes, entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion on the minutes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So, go ahead, Connie with us. She's one hand shy tonight, but are you left or right?
I'm left-handed.
Okay.
It won't stop her from talking.
Got her feet
She can actually text pretty good.
I
I
know.
learned. I have nothing else to do. Watch the Lifetime channel. Figure out how to kill them.
We better get
Watching all
back.
them Christmas.
Homework has some really nice.
I know.
That's talent.
Mary,
Okay.
you had to block it for all those ID channels.
They all get boxed.
That's how you're not supposed to do. I was actually whining to
Just
my
get back to the invoices.
whining to my husband, I will go watch Rudolph, but now I can't.
And we've got our invoices, and you see they're $304,339.96, and we know that, but anybody on this committee, but what I'm getting ready to say, but anybody in the audience or watching, I guess, are we live right now, Ken?
Yes.
Okay, and anybody there as well. This number includes $200,000 for the fireman's pension. It's a part of their budget. There's nothing different about it. It's just instead of paying it in 12 increments like we've been paying into the old plan, with the new plan starting, we'll do 200,000 up, 400 and some thousand up front to get it started, and then we'll have the other 200 and some thousand to work with, plus what's coming in on the municipal fees, as they're starting to come in $5 a month. So in that 300,000 seems very high, and it's because 200 of it is a one-time payment into the BB&T account that we approved last meeting to get things set up. So you've got 304,000 total. We can come back and talk about that. Just want to make that clear as we go in. And we'll start with Jim for any questions on invoices and P-cards.
Want P-cards first?
Now, Sid, any questions?
Got a couple of minor, on page 306, on, Jimmy J's Incorporated on our porta pods at the lake. Is that for a full year, $800? Is that for a full year? Is
What we got was an invoice for a couple of years. And we went through and analyzed it. It also included the porta potties that they put in the fall festival for what, 17 and 18. So I went through and negotiated with her, and that was what we came up with, was out of a $2,800 bill, we got it down to $1,300.
so it's around about $1,300 a year then?
No, that was a late,
That's
that was 2 years ago, Bill.
Oh, that was an old bill, because I know we paid one here just about 2 months ago.
That's a different company.
That's a different company. But what we had was expenses that they had not invoiced for. The invoices were held up for the dispute. But anyway, part of it was for fall festival. Not all that is for the lake.
All right, we got 1,800, one for fall dinners, yeah.
The 800 is for the lake. for the period of time that it was functional. And then we cut out the time that the porta potty was not being properly maintained or dysfunctional.
Now, we're gonna try to keep it every year round.
We're working right now with the concept of putting heat in the restroom up there. And then if we do that, we can take the porta potty off of the hill. It runs about
225.
225 a month.
Okay.
And we did a quick analysis, and it'd be about $137 a month to heat the restroom, if that works out. So we should save money through the winter by heating the restrooms and doing away with the porta potty.
Sounds good. On the second set of invoices,
You're at the P
so
card
that's on
section.
the P cards.
Okay.
The first one under, fire department. Perfect.
Okay.
One of, or 2 of 4 on the first page of P cards. Best Buy for, Mr. Brenda Thornhill for $1,000, Best Buy. Talk about big screen TV.
Christmas is coming. It's Christmas time.
Wait for Black Friday.
I figured that's what that was. Can you give the police department to draw one in, your
Yeah.
60 inch?
That is actually that was the West Virginia American Water Grant for $1,000 for a drone.
The drum.
That you check, was given to the city, and then we spend it.
Okay.
That's what it was. The drone has been purchased, and
Bought it at Best Buy.
yes,
Okay.
we're trying now to learn how to.
Saw pictures on that thing, and well, one like it was your, all the officers have one, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what that was. That was the drone.
Okay, I thought it was for a big screen over there. I was looking for the Lazy Boy, deal next.
They don't buy those out of city funds, I can tell you that.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about that.
No, you're wrong.
On page 3 or 4 on the P cards,
On budget,
for Bristol Broadcasting, for $580, what's that?
That's for advertising of the bash.
That
Radio ads.
That was your radio ads. If you go back and look at the purchase order log that I give you, you'll find that,
And then 4, all these enterprise, H&H Enterprise, that's for all blow ups and the novelties and
yes.
all that stuff, correct?
H&H, should be one for the inflatables and one for an employee meeting.
That's all I had, sir.
Connie, any questions?
No, just on 1 of 6. Isn't it Laura Anderson, not Laura? That's
LAU.
Laura.
Yep.
Just make sure somebody knows that.
Any other questions? I just had one question, a couple observations on page 1 of 6 at the bottom, police chief, Camel Technologies, poll footage. Was that a business that our officers couldn't, the Camel had to go in and do it, or was it a Camel at their business and they charged us to retrieve stuff?
They charge us to retrieve it. They charge us basically for the thumb drive. Those footage was captured on their cameras in the crime area. And they charged us for that thumb drive.
Okay. So I know you all retrieve a lot of businesses. I've never seen charged like that before. Just curious. And then just a note, this will be for the fire, not a question, but a note for you all. Connie has it in our notes that there's 2 more checks that will go in to your all's fund from the collections, $2,602.18 and $162.50 for a total of $2764.68. And then the city, we get half as well. So there's some rewards coming in from Datamax on that as well. So that's all that I had. It's just.
Datamax, they get half, and Datamax gets.
That's right,
half.
they get half, okay. We get the part off of Ogle and
Yeah.
Atkins, okay.
Yep.
But you got your half. That's all I had.
No, y'all decided?
Yeah,
We
have all
should
three.
have put all those into the
First.
Yeah,
The city gets it all, goes to the Ireland.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm still good. Any other council members have any questions on the invoices? And again, just to remind us, it is high because it's nothing out of budget, it's just a one lump sum, the extra 200,000 in that list. And if you remember at the last meeting, we approved the BB&T account and we were going to do the 200,000, but we need to rethink the strategy, and that's why it's done this way now. It's just coming out of their line item. And then if needed later in the year, we can do a budget adjustment for contingency to fill that back in if needed. We'll see how it goes with the municipal fees coming in. Just a question on that, Connie, they're starting to trickle in now because the first billing went out October 31st.
yes.
So when it will always be the end of the month now?
Are they coming in good?
Well, it's hard to say. I ran a report this evening because knew that would be asked. We billed 81,000 and we collected 77,900.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good considering this is November. You got us excited.
We billed, here's an example, we billed 35,000 in garbage and we collected 41,700. We billed
So
45.
We're actually getting delinquent.
Yes, see, I can't pull those, I'll have to do some different reports. Now that I know that, we'll run the report, we'll be able to figure that out. Municipal fees, we billed 25,900 and we collected 25,300. So, for our pension, we billed 19,000 and we collected 11,000. So, it's, a lot of, some of us, a lot of it's delinquents.
So at
That
least,
at least we're still working on those and
and they have until what they can force consider late when it's first.
Friday was late,
Okay,
and this was as of 4:00 this evening.
okay.
So Friday was the late day. And we had a lot of payments come in today even. So
I'm sure it'll take
it's hard to say how many's been paid. Is it
Take at least a
60%,
quarter.
70%?
take at least a quarter for people to get in the habit of it and even remember without being late because it's new. Now, have you gotten our part from the state when somebody pays online? Because I know there was.
Yeah, that's always in this report.
Because I know they had a glitch with sewer on November 1 and 2, and they didn't get their payments for 2 weeks or all 10 days until they got theirs. I know it affected your funds.
So that actually shows up in the iPass account.
Okay. Any other questions on the invoices? Okay, we have a motion then to send this amount of $304,339.96 to full council for payment.
Second that.
We need a motion.
I recommend we just do $304,339.96 for council.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you all. And just a note on that, since the 200 is in that, it's the BB&T account, the mayor and myself were at a meeting with fire and police on their pension with the old pension. But the mayor was going to send some info to the director of that, to forward on to the MPeers, is that what it's called? All the initials, MPeers.
Yeah.
So we can try to get this ball rolling on the new hire, find out why the state's dragging their feet and that. So, so there was conversation last Wednesday, a week ago tomorrow, and some good conversation. So we're hoping to get progress on that as well.
Yeah, he came down and met with Connie and I right after that meeting, and we got everything together and gave it to him, and he had it all to try to get it resolved.
He was going to work on it this week, because he said the other department head was in meetings last week, and he was going to help us this week. So we're hoping to do that, because it's holding us up on a new hire for fire department, which is costing us overtime on our budget. So let's move on down, new business. You have to note their approval of dates and filing periods for the city of Dunbar 2020 primary. And the clerks provided us with that list of the dates. And this actual part here doesn't, there's no cost to set the date, but by having an election, there are costs involved, so it does come through finance. You've seen your list of dates. Any questions for the clerk on that? Has the date of when you can file, when you can withdraw, everything involved in it, all the way down through the canvas on May 18th. So any questions for the clerk on the layout of the spring primary?
Just later on, you have to vote on fees or they're authorized.
The county clerk just bills us on that, don't you know, the actual cost of the ballot.
I mean, on the fees to sign.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Then there are fees on it.
Yeah, but there's,
It's set.
Set by ordinance.
set by
I
ordinance,
thought.
$10 council.
$50, mayor and clerk.
Just a question, Castro and Harris.
That's people who print the ballots.
Okay, okay, I wasn't
That's just
sure.
my reminder.
Okay. I didn't recognize the law firm. And
Yeah,
and
that's,
it wasn't here
that's
before
the
its
people
name.
that print the ballots.
Any other question, any other council members have questions on the dates? And once if the full council does approve this, I don't want to be presumptuous. If the full council does approve it, then all these dates will be available to the public or anybody running for office to know when they can register and all that's involved in that. But it's not official until the full council votes on it, so we'll do that after
Well,
tonight.
it's all really set by law.
Yeah,
Had to figure.
because we're on the new cycle with the presidential election, so
Yeah, it's all set by law, and you have to do it, you have to register so many days before. It's, it's all the code.
we have a motion to send full council the approval of dates and filing periods for 2020 primary.
I make a motion to send full council to approval of the dates and filing periods for the city of Dunbar's 2020 primary election.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. We come to item B. You've got a memo that we've been able to get the deeds to these three properties, 215 West Virginia, 125 Marks, 2105 Fletcher. Just a quick question. I'm very thankful, Hugh, but how did on 2105, how did we get that so quickly? Or is that something we should have talked about?
Down. He didn't want it.
Okay.
So he's supposed to be in tomorrow to sign the deed.
I'm very thankful. Those things can drag on forever.
Sometimes they can. He's one of those guys who buys the tax sale stuff and he walked in there and didn't know he bought a pig and poke.
That's being complimentary. So you've got three properties and the request is approval to solicit bids for asbestos testing and then the demolition bids for those three properties, 215 West Virginia, 125 Marks, and 2105 Fletcher. Any questions for the building inspector on that?
West Virginia and Mars are buildable lots. 2105 Fletcher is not going to be a buildable lot. I don't know how it got built there in the first place because it doesn't meet any of the setback requirements. So hopefully we'll be able to sell that to one of the neighbors for a yard or something.
Doug and I are thrilled to death there, right there, with this on the list. That's been a terrible trouble. Any other questions for the building inspector? We have a motion in to approve. This is again just soliciting bids. It's not the actual cost yet. We're soliciting bids for asbestos testing and bids for demolition for those three addresses.
I make a motion, we solicit bids for asbestos testing, for the three properties to be done.
And demolition bids. In your motion.
Demolition bids.
Okay. So we have a motion for getting bids for asbestos testing and demolition bids. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or any questions from other council? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. See a quick release bucket for the case backhoe, $998.21. And if you've read the memo, you see the rationale for it. But any question for Scott from Public Works on this, which would make it less labor and less chance of injury for our workers as they switch buckets? Is that an easy way to explain it, Scott?
It's faster.
Okay.
Instead of taking 2 hours to change it, it takes about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, watch the guy do it.
An hour, did you
About
say?
3 minutes. 2 hours,
An hour?
at least 2 hours. It's more
It's
safe.
actually safer because, if the guys have to wrestle that bucket around to get it to the right position, and you'll see a lot of municipalities have workers' comp claims from people wrenching their back trying to wrestle with those things. So
one pin instead of two or three. and
Just pull out.
Pull it out, set it down, put the thing, swing over, put it in the new one, put the pin back. Literally, the mayor and I watched the guy do it in 3 minutes. It was pretty quick.
The biggest thing, of course, would be reducing our chance of injuries on workers. Any other questions for Scott? Motion then to send to council requesting approval for this quick bucket release. That's from state equipment.
Make a motion that we purchase a quick release button from state equipment for the back of it. $998.21.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Receive garbage truck. Yeah, just a note on that, the Matheny costs, they include tax. So just a note, it would be $4,139.21 instead of $4,428.95.
What's the new total?
It's on their invoice as well before they add the tax, $4,139.21. Forgot to let that on there. So, any questions for Scott on, this is the 2016 garbage truck. Looked over there.
It's solid black on the wheel underneath it.
Okay. It's replacing gaskets and seals. Any questions? This is one of our, this is one we still have payments on, correct, Connie?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So,
I make a motion that we approve $139.21 repairs of the garbage truck.
motion, we have a second.
Second.
Okay, and that is from Matheny and Nitro or Matheny Motors. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. And then the next item is, this is the recycle truck again, correct, Scott? 2007.
That's the truck 17. It's the one that Charleston Fleet put the tailgate on. I sent it out there. We were having some trouble with it. The tailgate actually broke off after they fixed it. Turned around and told them to get it fixed and to see what all needed to be done because my inspector was having some issues wanting to pass it or fail it. And I told him what to do and took it out there and had it done. As you can see at the bottom, they gave me an estimate back in on August 21st for $3,567.34. I called them the very next morning after we had council and told them to get it done. A month later, I call and say, what's the status? And they said, we never got approval. I said, okay. I had approval and they said, well, the change is $4,967 now. And I said, you've changed it, I've got to take it back before council, get it to me, and they finally emailed it, and then with everything going on, I didn't get it here till this week.
I noticed they did acknowledge they quoted the lines wrong, but that's not the 1,400. Is it just more things needed done? Is that the 1,400?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because I don't have the old invoice and I can't memorize all the parts that were on the old one. So. Any questions for Scott on this?
I make a motion that we approve not to exceed $4,967.34 for Charleston Fleet Service to repair the power steering box and things.
Can I throw something at you?
Sure.
I'm gonna get the tailgate fixed by them because it's their product, but I also was gonna take it to see if I could get it done cheaper down at the fees before we go and approve. That's why we went with the, the 49 instead of naming Charleston Fleet specifically. I wanted to go get a different estimate to see if it would work.
Just raise it for $49,67.34 to make both repairs.
This is not to exceed, and then at least flexibility for public works, whether to do Charleston Fleet or competitor team. Motion to a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed no. You see item F or alphabet letter F here, approval to transfer the Jeep from the mayor's office to the reserves. And I think we're all familiar with that, but it mentioned in the one memo, it was from the Safe Communities Fund.
This will be coming out of just strictly our safety community.
Okay,
No money at all coming out of that, it's a
Okay.
different account.
and this one here mentions the reserve bingo fund, so this is the accurate word then, reserve
This is the
bingo
money
funds.
that we collect from down Bingham Hall for security.
Okay, I just make sure, because we have two different descriptions. So Jim, you want to share, because that you're, or Greg, either one of you.
Right now, as you well know, we have one car that we got a few years ago from the police department. And for now, after next week, we'll have 14 reserve officers. We have 8 that are qualified to drive. Takes over 200 hours to be put in and dedicated. Then take a driver's test whether you're able to drive. You have to be able to go out with another officer. You can't drive by yourself. We can't allow 3 or 4 people in a car together. So we're very, very short on our car. We talked about going down at the West Virginia surplus and getting another used car with a lot of miles on it and fixing it back up. But after talking to Chief Moss and the mayor about the Jeep, it just kind of basically sits there. We'd like to get it fixed up and you can use the Jeep. We'll take our money and put the lettering on it just like what we do. Plus it's a white car already. They're trying to keep separate identity from everybody.
So everybody understand, this is a vehicle that's not being used.
Well, it's kind of being used, and probably, as I explained to Jim, if somebody needs to drive it someplace, they'll be able to take it.
Cities available.
But it's
So Scott's backhoe, he won't let me drive his backhoe.
keeps us from purchasing one now, and so there's no cost to the city. It's just a matter of transferring from one department to the other.
It has to go to the police department on that, the other police department's name.
And then you see the money is from another fund as well, not the general revenue budget. So just everybody, so they're clear on that.
So it's going to be more reserve officer.
Jim, will it be, or Greg, will it be labeled just the same as the other reserve vehicle?
And then other people are going to drive it also, is that correct?
So what is that?
Yeah, I guess possibility.
That has to be amber instead of blue or red, right? The lighting and
We
things.
have amber, we have white, and we have blue.
Any other questions for Greg Wolf or Jim Hughes, the reserve leaders? We have a motion then to approve the transfer of the Jeep from the mayor's office to the reserve, to the police department, which would be for the reserves, and they'll take care of the marking and all the equipment. Motion?
I make a motion to transfer the Jeep from the mayor's office to the reserves for community patrol, and the reserves are going to pay for the marking of the car out of the reserve bingo funds.
So a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion or any questions from other council members? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Thank you. And then G is approval to repair engine 553, Charleston Fleet at $1,407.61. Fire chief?
Well, this is in addition to what you authorized last meeting. Last meeting, what you authorized was the radiator and transmission core repair. And after they got tore into it, this additional is to cover a oil cooler and oil and so forth. This is an addition. Now, the difference is what you guys approved the last time was the higher of the two quotes. I went with the lower of the two because the warranties were identical.
Okay.
So the $1,400 increase is probably only a $600 increase in total, but I don't have that yet. But that's what this is for. I can't, there was no evidence of an oil problem before it went, but it is what it is. It's up there in the mix of all that stuff, and they found it when they started doing the repair on the other one. So, what it is.
You can see it's a 2000 model, so it's a lot of wear.
Well, in the 2000 model, and we had the same truck in a 97 model. Both of those have the same engine in them. And this is really the first significant repair of any sort we've had on. So I'm not complaining in any way, shape, or form. It's a mild wear.
Any questions for the fire chief?
And if all goes well, I'll take the truck up in the morning.
Because right now we have one of the counties as backup, so.
Yeah. How much time do you have? Yeah, right now we're borrowing a reserve truck because the engine from Roxanna, that is the money pitted troublesome vehicle. Will not shift into pump gear. It's having some electrical issues that we're trying to get looked at and repaired, but right now it's not safe. I don't feel comfortable in trying to use it. It kicks. If you do get it in pump gear, it can actually decide to take itself out. So we're borrowing a truck until I can get this one back. And I talked to them today, hope to have it by the first thing in the morning. It should be good.
So you see a quote there, $1,407.61, Charleston Fleet, to make those extra repairs.
I make a motion to approve the repair of engine 553 at the cost of $1,407.61 by Charleston Fleet Services to go full council.
I second
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And again, even though we have these repairs to replace it, which we will someday, but to replace is about $350,000. So we're trying to hang on. We'll go to the clerk's report. She has, just give me a second to get my book switched. Connie has our short budget, our revenue expense, our scheduled cash balances, and our statement of accounts that we can go over. So Connie, do you want to start us on the short budget, which will be for October?
Short budget, we should be at 34%. After the first 4 months.
If you've had a chance to look at it, everything correctly,
Yeah,
not
right.
wrong, everything seems to be pretty good.
Right,
now.
everything, again, let's say that. Everybody's real close or below, we're right there, so.
Most of our year-round departments are between 24 and about 34, which is good shape.
Yeah.
Any questions for Connie about the short budget? Or even, like she said, all departments are pretty close in safe range. And then we have our
Then I'll give you revenue and expenses report. As you can see, our revenues for October was very good, but in return, September was way down, so kind of just more or less balances itself.
Now that October includes the quarterly sales tax payment, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then if you look at our, down at the bottom, the surplus to shortfall, we're still strongly in the black and surplus for the year at this point, and we're 187 ahead of last year at the same time. Again, it varies throughout the year, so you can't make long conclusions, but at least comparing to the same time last year, it's always good, first of all, to be in the black, not the red. But then also it's a little stronger than last year, so.
Yeah.
Anything else on that, Connie, or any questions for Connie on the scheduled revenues expenses up through October? Any other council members have any questions on it? Anything else on that one, Connie?
No.
And then you go to your cash balance. She's got that for you as well for ending October 31.
Yes. Anybody have any questions on our cash balance?
I had one question, and it's the October 19. There's a typo on top of 18. But on our, and I may be wrong in what I'm looking at, our scheduled revenue, it shows our income for October at $1,211,000 and the change. On this, it shows $1,205,000 and change.
What it is, this is strictly, Brian does it all by what's in the bank,
Okay,
what's been received as far as deposits is concerned on this. Then this report, I think he takes off of, the computer report.
okay.
That's what the difference. I'm pretty sure, because I questioned that one other time when that they were different.
Down at the bottom on expenditures.
And this one is strictly what's been received in the bank and what has, right, the expenditure probably a big difference.
Yeah, about 100,000, 120,000.
Yeah, this is what checks that cleared the bank, and this is what we actually wrote.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Except it's showing less on this one, that we wrote less than we've actually
No, this doesn't,
You see, expenditures,
It's just
what
420.
what we wrote last month may not have
544.
gone through the bank until this month.
Okay.
So that's kind of where some of the confusion is the delay from the time you write it shows in one register and when it actually gets processed and credit debited to the.
and some of this, it could have came from September's, may not have came out until October.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very confusing, but I'm pretty sure that he does this all by the bank. This one, the expenditures and revenue is done by what's received in at the bank and what's been spent by the bank.
Any other
Maybe,
questions?
and it may be the opposite way around. But I'll ask you to make
Do you have a
sure,
question or you just?
No,
Okay.
because I caught that too.
Always.
And then you've got, statement of accounts also.
There's all of our statements.
If you look at the iPass, it's 337,000. You've got a couple other accounts that we're drawing interest. And then the fireman, your iPad or your account with the state is holding to get all this started. It's up to 57. And then when we add what we just told you about, that'll make it 60,000 after tonight's approval in that. And Mayor, well, we want, once we get everything set up with BBT, this roughly 60,000 roll over into that then.
Yeah, I mean, rather than trying to keep the money in multiple locations,
We just been doing that until we got BBT, so that it didn't get
we
split.
didn't want to commingle with the general fund and then have it lost in the big black hole. So
But yeah, things vanish fast in there.
Yes.
Any-
So we're gonna roll this over,
we'll have to look and see what.
which one's
BB&T
paying the best?
Yeah, whether BB&T is giving as much interest as the state account. If their interest rate is equal to or greater than the state, then we'll roll it over into the BB&T account. But we'll always be rolling money, the monthly payment into the BB&T account. And this other will be set in reserve as a backup based on the interest earnings.
So-
Yeah, I'd say if we want to put it in the one that's drawing the most interest, and then if it's BB&T, fine, and then we keep feeding money into BB&T to make those monthly, and then make sure we keep a fund going.
Any other questions for the clerk on statement of accounts? Okay, thank you, Connie. Anything else you need from us? Thank you for that. And again, it's the second meeting of the month when she's able to get more info to us. For example, next month, we'll be on the second, December 2nd. So be very limited what she can have for us until the second meeting again. Any other question, anything, Mayor, you have for us or need to share with us about finances for the city? And then we'll come back to any other council or finance questions.
Probably at the first meeting on December the 2nd. We'll be having a big invoice from Axton for their contract. They'll be pouring the vertical walls tomorrow, so they should be finished within a week. Be pulling forms in the next few days after that. The roof assembly will be coming in the first or second week of December, and we have to have a cashier's check for what was it, 8,000 new?
8826.
Huh?
8826.
8826 to give to the driver if he unloads it. Then we have to have 2 scissor lifts there. So hopefully before Christmas we'll have the salt bin roof on done. Those expenses been approved. That will be coming down to be pretty heavy payments for those next couple of meetings.
As the Mayor mentioned, that's your MS4 budget, 150,000, but we're looking like we're bringing up 15,000.
We did the profile sampling last Thursday, is that right, man?
Yes.
For the garbage that we pulled out, and then if it comes back proper, then we can haul that to Sycamore landfill, and, we probably don't want to attack that tonnage to Scott's budget. We'll take it on the end of more budget. And what we've been talking about is, to minimize the expense and the hassle is getting a price from, one of the haulers that has tandem loaders, and we can probably haul that out of there in 5 loads as opposed to probably 20 or 30 loads with our little dump trucks. So we would end up burning up more time and fuel
And labor.
trying to get it there than we could by jobbing it out and be cleaned up and done faster. So we'll have those pricings to you probably at the December 2nd meeting.
If any of you haven't been down there, accident, well, first of all, Matt and his guys did a wonderful job on cleaning that mess up and make it solid. And then some Mayor mentioned accidents, done a great job as well, getting everything in there. So finally get that done. A question on the senior center, since it falls finance. Our first bill so far, I know this may be a recurring problem, but our first bill was going to be roughly $1,500 for the.
That was $1,500 for the first testing,
Okay.
or treatment. We're going to, they'll be coming back this Friday to do a follow-up test or inspection. And the reason it's not open, they wanted the chemicals to stay on the floor out in the open as long as possible because the bed bugs come out on a 4-day cycle to feed. And if they come out and get into the chemicals, then come out of the walls or wherever they are to try to find food, and they'll get into the chemicals and hopefully kill them. He explained to me the fumigation process that he would guarantee would kill every bed bug in the city hall at a cost of $35,000. What that's based on is a fumigation, and as opposed to just spraying chemicals on the ground, they seal up all the exterior things and then pump the city full of some kind of gas, and he assured me you can come in the next day and everything will be fine. And I'm thinking, that's just plain, that's scary. But anyway, the reason being is that there's no way to control that the gas that they pump in won't go to up into the gym and someplace. So that there's no way to regulate and control where it is. So they based it on the total cubic feet of the city hall, not just the impacted area, because there's no way to keep it from going other places than just the impacted area. That was his answer, and I said, well, we're not going to fumigate the city yet. We're going to sit back and see if we have a problem that manifests itself further than the first floor or the basement, and if we need to treat the basement again after the inspection Friday, we'll do that and hopefully get it under control, and then start working on a strategy to get some furniture in that's, he said, furniture with metal legs, they don't have a tendency to crawl on metal legs. You want all solid surface, whether, wood. You don't want anything that's got, like a vinyl chair that wraps and wraps around. It's got to be a solid bottom chair. I mean, these are all things that he's throwing out because they can crawl up underneath the edge of the chair and get up underneath that fold for the upholstery on the top. So it's just, it's a.
Where we at on the water situation coming in the building?
We haven't had any significant rains. We have identified, Beach and I have identified that behind the air conditioning units, there's a huge separation between the wall and the asphalt pavement. And now that the air conditioning season's over, I'll probably come back to you all with a plan to take the compressor units out of service and go in and dig that out and put a concrete pad and raise all that up to where water can't get in, and then reset the compressors back down on the pad to keep that water from coming against the building. That's one definite source, because it's coming into the kitchen and some other areas from this wall over here. Now, the outside of the building, if you and I talk from Beach, we probably are gonna have to just take part of the alley out up against the building and get all that tore out and sealed to keep the water from coming in that way. And then put in a series of drains to take the water from the alley straight to the inlets that are in the street, as opposed to letting it run down the alley and come around the corner and coming into the building.
What about the main electrical distribution coming in the building?
We'll be
Figured
put that
out
out,
on it yet?
we'll be put that out to bid here very shortly.
I've been in touch with,
And
Ron Arthur, to get them over here, look at it, they just haven't got it.
then the other thing on the agenda is replacing, getting the floor tile peeled up, and probably we'll go ahead and get that bid out now to get the floor, see what that's gonna cost to peel it up and put an epoxy floor down there. While it's shut down, it'll probably be the best time to go ahead and proceed, just leave it closed down.
And we're looking at bids on air conditioning for the rest, so that once it gets to January, February, they can get the time ready for spring. We have to get 2 or 3.
You just have to advertise it, whoever responds. For a project of that nature, it really needs to be advertised in the paper and solicit and get bids, as opposed to calling 3 or 4 people. Because there may be different people out there that can do it, that you don't normally talk to, that give you more competitive price.
Any other questions? Anything else you have for us? Any questions, any accounts, honey, text today, any questions on finances, anything? Just Jim.
Do we have a consensus?
You could always.
I would think the library, I'm just asking.
Do what?
No.
If we have to do what?
If you'd have to shut City Hall down, do you have a contingency?
The logistically, it's very possible that some of the offices could be moved over into the old dentist office and sanitary board owns. We could probably rent them for makeshift offices. I understand. The
Worst case scenario.
But the biggest problem is telephone lines, computer lines, and getting all the hardware transported over. So that's been my main concern all along, is try to minimize this to where we don't have to go into catastrophe mode, and just try to keep it into an incident mode.
Are we receiving any?
And then, have we made contact with the towers?
That's what I was going to ask without naming them. I was saying we're going to call them.
Hey, sorry.
I've talked to them repeatedly, they are treating it, but apparently they're not treating it properly. And there's different treatments, you can eradicate it, or you can just keep it at bay. Apparently they're just trying to keep it at bay rather than fumigate the building. But it's so spotty over there that there's so much vegetation from room to room.
I know.
But in defense of the towers, not all of our bed bug infested people have come from the tower. I mean, some of them are in rental houses.
This one came from a rental.
The main one came from a rental unit. And then we've had several people we picked up in transport that contaminated the van that we've had to treat. So it's not,
Yes.
It's
not a site specific, it's through
not
our
a
community.
sanitation issue either.
Yeah.
Bed bugs are non-discriminatory. There's been world-class hotels that have got bed bugs.
Yeah.
So it's just whoever happens to come in contact with them, and transports them to wherever they like.
I know Kim has been talking to them and trying to, but that privacy right You know, she said, well, you know, I've passed along ours to you so you'll know. But she's been trying to talk to them.
I spoke to her, she said she's trying to do
Right.
the best she could with politically being nice.
But, you know, there, it's not really isolated to totally one area. It's, several different, people we've had issues with that are not from that location. I think there's only been one from that location that we know for sure, right?
Any other questions on finances? Time to get ready for the next meeting. Any other questions from any council member on finances for the city of Dunbar? Not if we have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Thank you.
Yeah.